What's up, everybody? It is FMC here on Fightful Overbooked. Look at that. Look at us. Look at us. Both got our coffee. I'm Jerry Lambert. SP3 is here. Alex McCarthy is supposed to be joining us. Who knows where he is? He claims to be like busy or something. It's morning for us. It's afternoon for him. It's like 1 o'clock for McCarthy.
He's still on lunch. He's still on a lunch break, ladies and gentlemen. It's not Friday morning coffee for him. It's Friday morning ham and cheese.
I was trying to think of what is a C word that Friday morning cold cuts for McCarthy.
There you go. That works.
Yeah.
Double C.
SP3. Let's start. We were talking a little bit off air. Actually, before we start, I gotta show SP3. You got kids. This is Penguin.
Oh,
Penguin, and then this is I'm sure you're very familiar with the doc.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's the GOAT right there, man. We put that on for my daughter. She be loving that. My daughter just got, I don't have it in the room right now, but she just got this like big like Olaf that's like her size. And like, you know the Olaf nose with the carrot and stuff. It's abnormally large. So the first thought in my head, but I ain't say it. And then wifey gonna be like, oh, look at Olaf. He got a big orange dick on his face.
You can't say these things around the kids. You can't say these things around the kids.
I'm telling you what I was thinking.
Look, I get in enough trouble. I'm throwing out the euphemisms all the time. There's Alex McCarthy. Alex, we're talking about kids and stuff right now. You missed it, but this is Penguin, Alex. This is Penguin. Alex is not paying any attention. And Doc, you familiar with the Doc McStuffins?
The Doc.
I mean, wow, you've hit me early. You've come out strong out the gate. If you want to talk random toys, man, I've got stuff for days round here.
We don't talk about this.
How about the show. King Boo? King Boo's in the house.
Oh, pulled out the mollywop right there.
We were talking about the dick on Olaf's face. Olaf from Frozen. SP3 was talking about his giant orange dick.
It's sizable.
That's what my wife said. I thought it, but she's the one that said it out loud in front of my kids, so it's not my fault.
Oh, man. I get in trouble. I make the euphemisms that only me and the EP understand. The kids don't understand it, and I'm always worried that like at some point they're gonna catch on to this stuff, and I'm gonna get in real trouble over it.
I started doing the earmuffs. That's the thing.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, they're about to be 2, so now it's earmuffs time, man. Thank you, Vince Vaughn and Old School. I've been using that for years. I use that on all my nephews, and now I'm using it on my kids.
I still love that scene. Cock, balls. Okay, Frank. Okay.
It's like all you have to say is earmuffs. Like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? All you got to say is earmuffs. Then you can earmuffs, cock, balls.
Tremendous film. Absolutely tremendous film.
It is legendary film. Yes. Piven does a great role there. By the way, before the days of Ari Gold, this is Piven.
I was about to say, Alex, I actually just got HBO Max, so you know what I'm binge watching, right?
Back on.
Entourage,
get it back on.
I'm up to season 2. I'm about to do a video on the True Hill Heat Patreon, probably ranking the seasons. So, Alex, if you're down, just let me know.
Yeah. Wait. I need in on this. I'm a big Entourage fan. Yeah, I've binge watched all of Entourage. I need in on this. I'm just booking myself for shit.
When Turtle was fat, it's great.
Yeah.
And it's crazy for me because I actually just finished binge watching Power, which Turtle is the lawyer on. So it's I like to think of it as a big world where after Entourage was done, Turtle went to law school because he already went to school for his business degree. So he went to law school, he got his law degree, and then he wound up on Power.
Same universe, yeah. I've got to be honest, right? The original Power, I was a massive fan, huge fan, and I was so kind of annoyed by the ending that I haven't given any of the spin-offs a go. The next spin-off with Tommy, I'm perhaps willing to give a go, but fuck Tariq. Can I swear? I don't know. But
Alex,
You know?
come on now.
One of the biggest villains in TV history is Tariq. Like literally, like Romeo and stuff. He doesn't watch Power Book 2 Ghost because he hates Tariq so much.
No, seriously, he's got go away heat with me. Like I left the series because of Tariq. I said no, not doing it. And I've seen the adverts for Tommy. I'm like, you know what? I'll come back for Tommy. But no,
and watch Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, because it gives you the backstory on Kanan and Jukebox. So that's a good one.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I can get behind 50, but still, I don't know, man. I was mad. I was mad as hell.
I've got to watch Power. I've heard so many great things about it. I mean, 50. Like, I grew up listening to 50, so I've got to get in on Power. There's so much to watch, man. So much to watch. I need to make it a point to watch Power.
I would argue that until like the final season of Power is just a bit because like without giving too much away, it's like it's basically a whole series of different perspectives of one single event, right? Mm-hmm. So it's kind of lame. But the series leading up to that are some of the most gripping TV I've ever seen. It's so good, like so good. So prior to that, get on the train, Jeremy.
I'll watch it.
Prepare to have your heart broken and be mad like me, but get on the train.
To not give too much away, the first 5 seasons at the center of it, it's about a love triangle. And then that love triangle kind of ends after the 5th season. So that's why and also I just watched an interview with the creator, Courtney Kemp, and she said she had enough material for 5 seasons. So when she said that, I was like, this makes totally sense why season 6 is like a big drop off, because she says the same thing. The love triangle is the center. So then I had to tell this story and tell them more of the Tariq growing up. And it was like, yeah, that's why it fell off.
This is when you just gotta like end shows early. Like if you only have enough material for 5 seasons, just like The Wire ended at the perfect time. They didn't have anything else. Go for it. Dexter extended way too long and became a mess. Like it just. Did you watch New Blood, Alex?
I did. Yeah,
okay.
I did. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to upset you here. I felt like the newest season was actually a good way to come back and finish it, because the original finish I thought was heinous. I said this on Twitter, and there was very mixed reactions. People were like, it wasn't very good. I thought it was good, the latest series. But I mean, that's the thing. To the Trinity Killer, the first Dexter, again, I was like, oh my god, this is the greatest show of all time. The home stretch of the original Dexter is absolute arse. It's terrible.
Awful. God,
like,
awful.
What they do to his sister, I'm at, like, I mean, oh my god. They started like a love. I was so. Why did they do that? They teased like a love thing. I was so
when she drives the car into the lake, like when they're. Do you remember this scene? They drive the car into the lake. This is one of the worst scenes in television history for like a good show. Like Dexter is a good show, and then there's this scene. I don't remember what season it is. It's god awful. She drives the car into the lake, and they come out. They're like dry and everything. It's just awful television. Yeah, the
way they signed Dexter off after 8 seasons, right, as the Bar Harbor Butcher in the original run is so trash. I like the way they've done it this time. It's so much more poetic and well done. I'm glad they came back and gave it a decent finish.
No, you were not going to upset me with that. I said because I was excited because I've not talked about Dexter with anyone. And I've been very excited to talk about it because I love the new season. I love this season. I thought it was fantastic. It was definitely a fitting in to what Dexter deserved compared to go off and be a lumberjack. That whole ending.
God. You know what's different between like the UK and US sometimes is like I don't know if you guys have ever really got into some. Oh my god! And until a lot of our series are like 6 episodes, bang, done. That's it, right? So if you ever watched, like, I don't know if you've watched the UK Office. 6 series. There's 2 series, 6 episodes. Thank you very much. And it's the same with. I don't know if you watched Line of Duty. That's like one of our best ones at the moment. It's incredible. It's all about the English police force, like, and corruption and stuff. Same thing. Whatever. I think there's 3 series, 6 episodes. Like they don't. It doesn't outstay its welcome. The good ones. The Bodyguard's great over here as well. If I could get you guys on a ton of stuff over here. But like all of them, like anything that kind of runs on the BBC, which HBO equivalent, it's not, but where there's great shows, they're always short runs. And I feel like sometimes it's frustrating. But when I think about now, the amount of stuff that's run too long, like seldom can you name a show that actually went like the perfect length. Like I remember like Breaking Bad, I felt like the walls were falling off. But like I actually quite like the ending of Breaking Bad. I think
Same.
like when I think about like, you know, Game of Thrones, I was fuming. You know, Walking Dead's got like 17 seasons too long. Like there's just there's a lot of them like that where I just think I gave up with Walking Dead. I think I got to season 12.
12.
I was like, yeah,
wow,
something like that. And I'd gone, you know, I'd already been watching for like 3 or 4 seasons just because I'd already invested a lot of time. And I was like, no, you know what? I'm not gonna let you do it to me anymore. Walking Dead, you've lost my custom. Yeah, it was.
They've got Fear of Walking Dead as well. Like they had spinoffs. Is that show still on? Like legit? Is that show still on?
I think so.
The original or Fear?
I don't know. I have no idea. I watched like a couple episodes of the first season, and then I was like, it's not my style. First off, I'm not into that kind of genre of stuff. I was like, I'm not watching this. And then I see people just like basically nowadays, anything I see about The Walking Dead, it is people complaining, but who are too invested to get out at this point.
WWE.
And, yeah,
exactly.
There's no wrestling talk. There's no wrestling talk on this show, Alex McCarthy. We all knew it. You didn't have to say it, but that's exactly like what I see from people on the timeline who talk about this show. It's like, I hate this show. It's the worst ever, but they keep watching because they're so invested at this point.
Yeah, that's true.
It's that type of mentality, and even shows that, you know, I love, like Entourage. Like, see, we all know where it fell off is season 7 when they went the drug route. Literally, season 8 was necessary to clean up what happened season 7. Like, how do you end season 7 with him getting in a fight with Eminem? They found
Eminem slept him.
Yeah,
SP3.
it did.
He was in a relationship with Sasha Grey the whole season. Oh man, that whole I will never forgive them for season 7.
Let's not complain about Sasha Grey being on the
TV
the entire time though.
No, I was fine with that. It was just where they took Vince's, they got too serious. Like, the thing about Entourage was there was a lot of like stakes. There was some serious, but it was always at the root was the comedy, was Ari, was drama, was Turtle, like the people that brought the comedy. When they focused too much on Vince, they never, like, Vince was the star of the show. They never really focused on him. Think about it. Like, they focused on his career, but not Vince as a person. When they did that in season 7, that's when it started to fall off.
Yeah, we loved it when Vince was just going around slaying everyone, right?
Exactly.
Vince was having a great time. We were having a great time.
But he's going to New York at the end of season 1, and he's got a list of all the girls he's got to
go. Wait, I mean, like, even because what film does he does and he tanks, like the drug one, right? He does that.
Medellin.
Medellin. There you go.
Yeah,
but then he takes a chance with I'm forgetting the film's name, but like
the Fire Jumper film.
Yes,
right?
No, that's the one he sucks in, right? And the director's
he
like,
does. Like, the director, and the director have like huge.
Why can't you cry? And he's like, but what's the film that he does with the crazy director, and it actually turns out to be great.
Which one?
It's like his comeback film after Medellin. Like
his comeback film is where they basically foreshadowed. No, they foreshadowed Gatsky.
Queens Boulevard. Was it Queens Boulevard?
Queens Boulevard. There it is.
With Billy Walsh. Yeah.
There you go. That I'm seeing my timelines all over the place. I haven't watched it in a while, but as you can tell, big fan. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I think what you were just saying as well, and a few people have said in the chat about like Walking Dead and whatever. Like, sometimes there's like a golden generation of like the early series. Like, people say this about Simpsons all the time, right? And like I would say the same for Family Guy. Like 1 to 4 is like incredible viewing. I think it was the same for Walking Dead. The first 3 seasons, particularly in the time where zombie stuff wasn't actually that prevalent. I mean, it's everywhere now. Like, wow, amazing TV. But then it kind of just lives off that, and it's like, no, man. They're making too much money, I guess, and they're like, well, we'll keep it rolling. But there's loads of TV shows I look at like that, and I think, these particular seasons were like incredible stuff, but then it never lasts. It never lasts.
It doesn't. Yeah, I think The Wire. I think The Wire did it well. Like that got out after 5 seasons. I think that did it well. Sopranos a little bit long, and then I mean we can debate the ending all day. Oh, what do you got about
this? I'm not as like I've watched Sopranos, but I don't hold it in the legendary esteem that everyone else does. Like it's good, but you know when people say it's like the greatest, I don't consider it the greatest. I feel like it has a lot of slow episodes for me.
Yeah,
well, maybe it's more to do with like my viewing habits than how great the art is. Maybe I'm not appreciating it, but I would hold The Wire above The Sopranos personally.
I think The Wire is better than Sopranos.
So you know, going into the final season with The Sopranos, you know where you know, he's in hospital and he's all fucked up and whatever. Like I don't know, like there's a lot of the fallout from that. It's just so slow to me. I didn't feel like the tempo. Maybe it's just me, but
the last season was like part of the writer's strike, right? Because then they like split up the last season because that last season was kind of a mess. Like the therapist like went away and then she came back. It was sort of a mess on stuff. And then the ending, I didn't like totally hate the ending, but I also knew it was coming by the time I started watching it. I feel like if I didn't know it was coming, I probably would have hated it a lot more.
I mean, without spoiling too much, are we to assume that like, you know, after because it all just goes black, are we to assume that they get got? What, like
it's up to you.
It's up to you.
I know it's up to the assumption, but that's like, you know, I don't know. I've read articles.
What do you think? What do you think happened at the ending, McCarthy? The screen went black. What do you think happened? You think he sat down, then they just had a nice little dinner there, or do you think that everyone got shot up?
I think they all got done. But it's the same as like have you seen Inception? Right, the ending of that. I like to believe that he's back with his children for obvious reasons because I'm a father. Damn it! But you don't. But I just hate it the way it's kind of like, oh, you don't get the affirmation or the confirmation. But the, you know, like the little wobble it did, I thought, you know, he's fine. He's back in the real world. But I don't know. What do you think? Do you think he's back in the real world?
I think he's back in the real world. I like the happy ending. I like it for The Sopranos. I like to think that they sat down, they hashed it out, everything was good, and then Tony actually shot him, and Tony actually still survived.
Oh, all right. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. I'll take it.
You can book whatever ending you want. No one knows the truth. Just choose your own ending. That's how I'm booking it. What's your ending for The Sopranos, SP3?
I always feel the Kingpin has to die. That's why, like, with Power, I kind of knew like how that was gonna end because I was like, you gotta. They literally tell you how these shows are supposed to end. But I will say, I do agree with Alex. There's a couple of like HBO shows I would rank above The Sopranos, including The Wire, and I would even rank Power. I've always told people Power is the Black Sopranos, and those first 4 to 5 seasons are some of the best television I've ever watched. So rewatching it reaffirmed that.
Where can I watch Power? I know it's on Stars. I don't have a Stars account. Nobody has Stars.
You have Prime Video?
Yeah, I got Prime.
They're connected with Stars now. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Do I got to pay extra for that? I don't want to pay extra.
No, okay. I just pay the regular one, and I've been watching the Power, and it's still continuing. Like, really, when you really think about it, Power is like now 10 seasons long because they've had 2 seasons of book 2. They had 1 season of book 3, and now they're gonna have book 4.
I'm just watching the original. I'll watch the original. Yeah,
I will tell you,
and then I'll go from there.
Alex, I will tell you, book 2, season 2 is some of the best Power television ever. Just for this one character that has become the most memeable character in Power history, named Zeke Cross. He's a dumb basketball player that Tariq has to tutor, and he is just comedy gold. Like, this is the best comedy that Power has ever had.
I don't want to ruin it because Jeremy's about to embark on it, but you know why I'm upset. Anything. So I'm not gonna. But is there a way I can follow your journey on this, Jeremy? I really want to.
I'll tweet know what you think. Yeah, I'll tweet. I'll do binge tweets of Power. I'm gonna try to get through. I don't know. First, I got to find time to actually sit down and watch it and invest in it. That's the toughest part of trying to watch anything right now for me. Is finding the time. I gotta get through Too Hot to Handle still. That's what we're binge watching. Too Hot to Handle.
Nice.
Have you? We're talking like favorites there, and you some of the stuff you mentioned. I would honestly, I mean, Breaking Bad and Game of Thrones are both in my kind of top 5. I'm not sure where. Game of Thrones would have easily been the top 1 if the second half of the last season wasn't so bad. Like the way they finished it was really bad. I loved that show. Like every episode had something. There was just like a whole great cast of characters, but the way they wound it down was so bad. Like it went out of their way to make it bad. I feel it was right there. It was a layup.
I don't have the love for Game of Thrones everybody else does. It's just it's another thing that comes down like it's not my genre. I don't like the fantasy kind of stuff like that. And when I watch shows, I like the element of realism in it, and that's why I can't get behind like Walking Dead. Game of Thrones, I was like forced to watch. But I probably would have never watched it if it wasn't for the ex. But she forced me to watch this show, and then I got invested. And then I watched the last season. And I was like, this is what you deserve, honestly. This is what you deserve. You deserve this shitty. Yeah, you deserve this shitty life. It was honestly. I tell this to people like I'll break kayfabe here. It's my favorite season because it's such a mess and there's so much stuff going on. I was like, yeah, just fuck everything up. Like there's so much happening. It's great. It's not slow or anything. I didn't like I'm not a fan of Game of Thrones. Not a fan.
I can honestly say I've never watched one episode of Game of Thrones.
You shouldn't.
I heard all the hype around it and I was just like, you know what? That's not for me. I didn't watch Walking Dead because of that. I didn't watch Breaking Bad for a while, but then I watched it and I was like, oh, this is really cool. Plus, I watched stuff like Weeds, which I say is the female Breaking Bad. If you ever saw Weeds, that's a really good show on Showtime. I watched that for a while. So I like Breaking Bad when I got into it. But those shows that are so popular, everybody start talking about it, makes me not want to watch it. That literally,
he's gonna be contrarian. He's gonna be contrarian. No, like, nah, this is good. I ain't watching it.
Yeah, me and my missus are the opposite, man. We're like, everyone's talking about this show. Like we did the same with Squid Games. We were like, oh, everyone's talking about it. So like,
I've not watched that.
Let's give it a go. Yeah, it's. But I mean, it's one of them, like with Game of Thrones as well, because as what I was talking about earlier, it's like an hour investment, right? And I think when I got on board with it, maybe it's 3 or 4 seasons already deep already. So you're like, oh god, like that's pretty much the next couple of months sewn up when we're getting into it. But the first episode, I remember watching, thinking, oh man, I don't know. Like there was a load of characters.
This is my biggest complaint with Game of Thrones. There's like so many characters. And I can't keep track. And they got all the weird names and stuff. I can't keep track of all these people. I'm like, cool. I don't know. I don't remember who you are. I really don't remember who you are. I remember Jon Stark and Emilia Clarke. I don't even know her. Khaleesi. That's her name.
I remember when it started, right? And I was like, I love Sean Bean. Everyone loves Sean Bean in the UK. Oh, he's dead.
Yeah. That's why.
Last episode. Gone.
See, I stopped watching like episode 2 or 3 of the first season, and then somebody's like, "Oh, you got to keep watching; it gets so good." Like, there's big thing that happens that you just don't expect, and they killed him. I was like, this does not make me want to keep watching this. They just killed someone I actually knew and was invested in. This isn't good heat for me. This is bad.
No, bad heat.
Go away heat. And then the girl ex made me watch it, and so I was like, "Oh shit!" Now I'm in it now. Unfortunately.
We very masterfully talked about all of these shows without giving too much away, I feel.
I think we did really good. One show I did want to mention, because I got reminded of it this week, and I was like, I've never seen a show dramatically fall off from like season 1 to season 2 ever in the history of like my lifetime watching television. You remember Heroes?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my God. I have never seen a show like that. First season is like epic television when they build up to Skylar and Peter and all that stuff. And then when you watch season 2, you're just like, is this the same show? Is this like, this is not cool. It's not entertaining. It's nothing. Like I have never seen a show fall off that bad. And I got reminded of it this week.
They tried to like reboot that. Didn't they?
Yeah.
And it lasted like 2 episodes or something. Like just they tried to reboot it because I think they even brought back like Hayden Panettiere for it or something. But like and then it immediately died. Drew mentions Euphoria. I've heard a lot of talk about this.
I haven't seen it.
I have not seen it either. Have you seen SP3?
I've only seen like the trailer when I'm on like HBO Max, and of course it's got Zendaya, so I have to pay attention whenever Zendaya is on the screen. I was like, oh, okay, she got a TV show on HBO Max. But I'm like binge watching Entourage at the moment. I'm also watching Peacemaker from my friend's YouTube channel, which I love. That's like my favorite new show out right now. And I also started rewatching. I don't know if you remember the HBO show Hung.
Oh, I never watched it, but I know what it is. I've heard of it. I think my dad probably watches it.
Listen, I've got two bits of business I want to throw in your way right now. One show that we need to throw some respect on is Prison Break. That was a great show.
Yeah, Prison Break was really good.
The first couple of seasons were unbelievable on that show. That's another one that the last one was a bit like, you're just doing it to do it. But it was still kind of good. Like they still did it pretty well. It just wasn't the original. Anyway, very good point made in the comments today because I'm a huge South Park fan. So it airs in the UK. 20.
Did the new season start? Did I just miss it?
I watched it last night on HBO Max. Must watch television because when it hits you what they're talking about, it's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I didn't realize there was a new episode.
They throw you this way, and then when they keep like hammering it home, you start getting what they're going with, and it's awesome. It's a great follow-up. But I will say you have to watch that pandemic.
I've watched
the specials.
They're good. Yeah, I've watched the specials.
The special when they go in the future. Oh my god!
Yeah, the future stuff is tremendous. It's tremendous. Yeah, I love the closing of that is just Cartman is just like out in the cold, and there's like he made his bed, lay in it, and now he just like it was justice. It was poetic justice, man. I love Cartman. He's one of my favorite characters of all time, but like that was poetic justice for him to just be left out of everything there.
You've got to enjoy shit happening to him. But and the reason I brought that up is right. So I feel like there's a difficult conversation to be had around like greatest animated show, right? Like comedy or adult comedy, because Simpsons, I guess, is like who breaks the door down. Even though I would say it's more milder. The comedy, but then you got like South Park, Family Guy, American Dad, Archer is a phenomenal show. Rick and Morty is a phenomenal show. Like there's a lot of great stuff out there, but like I would argue maybe that South Park's the GOAT, like longevity and just in terms of memorable episodes. Because like we said earlier, Simpsons is a very specific bracket where it was great. I think like there's kind of like 5, maybe 3 to 7 is like incredible.
Yeah.
And then it kind of, again, same thing. They just kind of churn out episodes. But I think Family Guy had its time. American Dad's amusing. To me, South Park is like the long-standing GOAT. I'm willing to open the floor to different opinions.
You won't find any disagreement from me because of the way they make it. First of all, because Simpsons or Family Guy, you can kind of see they make their bunch of episodes for the season. They send it to Fox, and that's how they air it. With South Park, they are literally doing it the week of. So they are talking about stuff that is a hot topic that week, and that's what makes it so entertaining. Especially like the last couple of seasons with the Tegrity Farms, I was like in and out with. But with what they did with the pandemic and the COVID specials. I was like, okay, they're back again. And then watching the season premiere for season 25, I was like, okay, they're back at it again. So I'm with it.
It's kind of incredible that Matt Stone and Trey Parker, right? They've been doing it for like 25 years now, and their humor is like exactly the same. Yeah. Like they haven't grown up at all. They've just kind of gone, yeah, this is great. What about you, Jeremy?
You just smoke a bunch of weed, and your humor just gets knocked down. It says the same. I'm with you on South Park. I didn't grow up like watching The Simpsons, so I've seen all these seasons and whatnot, and it's good. I certainly enjoy it. I'm not gonna knock it. But I grew up watching South Park, and so that'll always hold like a special place for me. And like there are certainly episodes and seasons that completely fall off. Like when they tried to do like the serial episodes with where Kyle's dad was like the troll and stuff. Like I hated that season. I was like, oh no. Like I like my South Park and sometimes I do think like when they're trying to be like very topical and hit that stuff, I'm like, it doesn't always hit for me because I like watching the show as like an escape. not like to be hit over the head with what's still happening in the real world. Early season South Park shit where they're just throwing a bunch of stuff at the wall. They got just random shit happening. That's some of my favorite TV right there. Like
I agree.
I love that stuff. So yeah, I'll put South Park. It's at the top of the list for me.
Because they only went episodic like 4 or 5 seasons ago, didn't they? Right, like before that, it was just a season of. And I agree with Jeremy. That's to me the best South Park. Again, I would put Family Guy maybe as a second if I had to. Like, just thinking about the amount of enjoyment and the rewatch value I get out of Family Guy is very high. But I also think Archer's phenomenal as well. Like the latest season they just done of that, obviously. I don't know if you two have Archer watch.
I haven't seen the latest, but I would do watch Archer.
Well, his mum is obviously in real life passed away. The actor from
Bob's Burgers.
No, he is. She was the mum.
Arrested Development.
Arrested Development.
Oh, that's my show. That's another show that should have ended early.
It should have. Although once again, I'm kind of glad they went back and did the ending that they did. Like
the first time they came back, it was okay. I'm talking about they came back another time in 2019, and I was just like, I tried watching those episodes, and I was like, nah, it's not there. Like they were able to recapture their buzz again with that first comeback on Netflix, but the second one, I was like, nah. This ain't it.
What a cast that was, man. Anyway, Lucille Bluth, or whatever her name was, she was Archer's mum, and she passed away. So I thought they actually quite, although I was a bit disappointed, you obviously understand, like, I thought they quite skillfully navigated that in this season. So watch it if you can. It's very good. But yeah, man,
I gotta catch up on Archer.
It's good. It's good.
One I want to shout out, and this is another one where I wish it would have ended where it ended and not even came back, because the 2 seasons that they did at first is just gold. Boondocks is my joy. I could rewatch that anytime, any place, especially the first episode with Uncle Ruckus singing his song at the white party. I'm sorry, it's one of the greatest scenes in animated television history.
I've not seen Boondocks. I've seen the clips and the memes from it to where I feel like I've seen this entire show because it is clipped a lot, but I've not actually seen like a full episode of that show. But
all I will say, if you got to watch one episode, watch the R. Kelly episode and then call it a day. And if you like it, keep watching. If you don't, then this Boondocks is not for you.
Listen, I don't. Sorry to hijack. I watched the other day, right? Because we have like Amazon Prime over here, and I saw Key and Peele, right? And I always wondered, because I never gave the show a chance, because I always felt like it was, just a Dave Chappelle ripoff, basically. And I was such a massive Dave Chappelle fan back in the day, still am. And I gave it a go for the first time.
That's controversial. That's controversial saying you're still a Dave Chappelle fan.
Is it?
Man, some of his new stuff, man, I don't know.
What, you mean just going after transgender people, like relentlessly? No, I know what you mean. But I mean, I went to see him. God, when was it? It was in the last WWE Saudi show, because I had to miss the show because I was watching Dave Chappelle in London, and it was literally right on. So it was like just a couple of days before this whole controversy had come out of the latest controversy for Dave Chappelle, anyway.
Yes.
And like literally the first 30 minutes of the show, I was like, "Come on, man, can we move on? Like, come on, Dave." But yeah, I don't know. Like, I felt like that was one of the GOAT shows, like at its time, Dave Chappelle. That original run, even the Lost Tapes, man, for what would have been the 3rd season, it would be sensational. But when I watched Key and Peele, I couldn't get into it. I don't know, am I alone in this? What was the American perception of Key and Peele?
I enjoyed Key and Peele because there was just like a different kind of humor. Because when they first started, I was like this is dollar value Dave Chappelle. But then I watched the first episode and I saw the and especially now I get this a lot more. They do a skit where it's like two husbands and they're having like a double date at the other couple's house, and the wife's
I
like
saw
go
this
and
one.
take a look at
I
the
saw
house,
this one.
and they're
They're
talking about
in the
like
basement.
different. Yes,
yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that skit. I will always remember that skit because that's the very first episode, and they're like talking like, "Oh, she wants to go to, Outback." I said Outback Steakhouse, and she's like, "Oh, do you have another option?" And she's like, "Oh, what about Red Lobster?" He was like, "Why you didn't say that from the beginning?" I told her.
Yeah.
I love that.
So
especially now, I get it more.
Yeah.
I really liked Key and Peele, and I liked it because and SP3 might be able to confirm this with me, but like Chappelle's Show was one of a kind when it came on, and like I still go back and watch those shows, watch those episodes. Like Chappelle's Show was tremendous, and then it ended. Comedy Central for years gave like everybody a sketch comedy show. After this, they had so many sketch comedy shows. I don't remember all of them. I was actually like trying to look some of them up, but like Nick Kroll had his own show. Like legitimate, like every single year after Chappelle's Show ended, they would give somebody like a new sketch comedy show to like recapture the Chappelle Show magic, and no one could do it. And Key and Peele finally came along, and like they were the closest who actually hit on something that was different enough from Chappelle's Show and actually good compared to all these other shows that they tried to do. And I thought Key and Peele was different from Chappelle's Show to where I did enjoy it. They had some good skits in there.
I think the key to them was everybody tried to be like their version of Chappelle's Show, where Key and Peele kind of combined, because I think it's Key. He comes from Mad TV. So they kind of combined what Chappelle's Show did good and what Mad TV did really good and made it into one. Like the substitute teacher skit is one of the greatest skits in like any sketch comedy. I'm sorry. Like I can rewatch that every single time and laugh. Ain't wrong. Ain't wrong. D nice. I'm sorry. That's what it like. I could rewatch that over and over again, and that's funny. Like that, Key and Peele was the closest that Comedy Central got to sketch comedy, like Chappelle's Show.
The meme, I'm sure you guys have possibly seen the meme, but when he's the president and he's like shaking hands with all the different people, and they'll meme the shit out of that with certain things. But like that's one of my favorite things. The Obama stuff, and then the Obama translator and everything. Like that's some good shit right there. I think Key and Peele are fantastic.
I'm gonna give it a try. But I only literally gave 2 or 3 episodes ago, and I was like, I don't know. And I don't know. I guess maybe you have to be in a non-Chappelle mindset. What you're expecting.
There's that. Yeah, you can't compare it to Chappelle's Show, and it could be like I was saying is like they tried so much shit that just didn't work that when Key and Peele finally came along, it was like, oh, this actually works, and so it's good. We watched so many bad like sketch comedy shows from comedians. Boss says it. He says Comedy Central thought it was a license to print money to give comedians a sketch show, and like all of them just like failed. And so like after you watch so many of those failings. And then that comes along. It's like, okay, this is actually good. So the standard for us was not comparing it to Chappelle by that point. The standard for us was comparing it to all these failed shows. And it was still good. Like it still stands on its own as a good show. But especially when you compare it to those, it was just, night and day compared to those. Balba says, I'm still a Dave Chappelle fan. Look, man, you can't take away my memories of Dave Chappelle and his early stuff, but sprinkle some crack on him. But like his new stuff, just not that good.
Nah, I watched the first Chappelle Show Netflix special, and I was like, all right, this is good. I tried watching like the second one. I think he was in like Texas or something, and I was like, nah, it's not for me. It's not.
I didn't feel like he's doing comedy.
He's just talking. He's just talking. It was great that first time. Because you hadn't heard him talk in a long time. It was refreshing to hear his views on stuff. And then they kept coming out with more and more Netflix specials. And then they took Chappelle's Show off of Netflix, and I was just like, yeah, I can't get into it. I'm good.
I liked the first. What did he do? He did like 3 when he came back to Netflix, I think.
Yeah.
I like the first 2, even the Texas one. But then he did one where he's like in this intimate club, and he's just talking all low and smoking, and does a story about how a pimp like outdoes the. I was thought, what are we doing here? Like, this isn't what I came for. Yeah, what are we doing here? And he was like, that's a cold game. I was like, I don't care, Dave Chappelle. What are we talking about here? Yeah, then that is where I got a bit like, and like I said, the first 30 minutes of when I went to see him, I was like, oh man, come on, man, you're just red. It's like I went to see Kanye West before he was really crazy, less crazy. I don't know when it was, maybe like 2009, thinking about it, 2009, 2010.
That's about the time he went crazy.
Yeah, right. So like, I think his mum had died anyway at this point, right? So he did.
I always go back. It's when his mom passed away, and then when he came out with 808s and Heartbreak. That's the real like those first 3 albums from Kanye. I'm sorry, no one
unbelievable
had a better first 3 albums. Like it's him and Eminem for first 3 albums. Like
I said that to my missus. I said that to my missus last night because there's a documentary coming of Kanye on Netflix, and I've said it to her about 20 times. She was like, I know, Alex. I was like, look, those first 3 albums though. But yeah. Anyway, I went to see him at the O2.
You're like that meme with the girl is just like standing there and it's like, and you're just shouting at the first 3 Kanye albums. Let me fucking tell you about them.
Get them high.
Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, Dropout, College Dropout.
He produced them all by himself. No. Yeah, and when I went to see him, he like I said, he just he did like this opening monologue, like with music playing, but all about his mum. Let him have it, right? Okay, fine. And then about midway through the show, he just starts like vibing to it's just like a track. It's not even a track from an album. It's just music, and he's literally just kind of making his own song up, going like "fuck critics." And we're all meant, like, people were like cheering at first, like, yeah, fuck critics. He's like, they only gave me 3 stars. And like, this went on for like 20 minutes. And people were like, dude, we've already paid our money to be here, like, and support you. You don't need to like hammer it home. And like, just sing some fucking songs. And he like, literally, that was like, he got to like 10 minutes in and everyone's looking at each other going, is there a breakdown happening here? He's going, and then Vibe magazine only gave me 4 stars. It was Jesus Walks, and we're like, brother, what do you want from us? Like, what do you want from us right now?
We didn't rate it.
Yeah, I was just like, man, yeah, we bumped those songs. Come on. After I saw him there, I thought, not quite the guy I thought he was, I guess. Like,
okay, but if that was 2009, My Beautiful, I screwed up the order here. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy came out in 2010. So like that was a banger of an album. Yeah. I love that album. Wait, are you not in on My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, Alex?
I just went, I gave you an
okay. Okay. I thought you were going as in I thought you were going as in like not a fan of it. I was like, oh man.
Sorry,
okay.
No, that album,
great Kanye album.
That album is like I want to say probably his last great album. I think he had one more. He had one more probably good album. Maybe after that.
Jeremy,
but yeah,
no, he didn't.
No, yeah, that's probably his last great album. Like there was like a one break. 808s and Heartbreak, you can go either way. It's a polarizing album. You're either gonna like it. Like I see somebody in the chat saying Runaway. Runaway is one of my That's one of my bangers I can listen to at any point. So 808s and Heartbreak, there was some good there. Dark Twisted Fantasy, that was great. And then it was like a steady drop off from there.
After that was the Kim relationship, and I don't think that helped.
No, it did not. I mean, nothing. I haven't seen anybody like improve when they get with the Kardashian. Like either they're at a certain status and they stay there, or they dramatically fall off to Lamar Odom. Like it's like either one or the other. I'm sorry, I can say it because I'm a Laker fan. I can say it because I'm a Laker fan.
Don't do Lamar like that. Come on now.
Just saying. I'm
legitimate. I'm trying to think of like Devin Booker's doing all right for himself. Like he's doing. I mean, they didn't win a title last year, but he's doing all right for himself.
And what was the key?
It's Kendall Jenner's fault.
I mean, to be fair, he is with like Kendall Jenner, so he doesn't have the Kardashian last name to haunt him. So he may luck out. He's an all-star again this year, not a starter. That might be the reason why, Devin. I'm just saying.
Tristan Thompson's got nothing to do with the fact LeBron and Kyrie departed town. It's the fact that he can't control himself, for one, but two, his career is. Remember when he re-signed in Cleveland and they gave him like all that money, and everyone was like,
"That was a mistake."
Everyone was like, "Ooh, that's a lot of money," but really, LeBron and it was just to keep the team together. I assume. Yeah. I don't know.
And for what
decision?
And for what? They broke that. They broke that damn team up like the next following year when they tried to get like D Wade and Derrick Rose, and didn't work.
I mean, look, Kyrie is an issue in all of this because I don't know what's going on with this guy. The Nets, everyone thought the Nets were just going to run through teams. And I mean, I know Durant's hurt right now, but you still have Kyrie and James Harden. Like, you should still be a little bit better than you are right now, not losing to Sacramento and everything. It's a rough get. But let's talk about y'all's favorite team.
Yeah, I was telling Jeremy, ladies and gentlemen, before we went live here, like I tuned in. I didn't even watch the whole game. I literally tuned in at the start of the fourth quarter. We're down by 12, and I'm like, all right, I'll give this a couple of minutes, see if we make a comeback. We went on like a 10-0 run. I was like, all right, cool. We in this. I was like, yo, Westbrook
you got the Westbrook experience last night, boys.
I was like, for like 8 minutes of that fourth quarter, Westbrook was OKC Westbrook again. Like, he was driving to the lane, a 3-point play. I was like, okay, we great, we good. Put in AD, we good. Ariza hitting the 3. Monk was out there. Monk has been our best bench player, honestly. Like, everybody was talking about Melo, but Monk was balling last night too. And unfortunately, he has to be in the starting lineup because we have no LeBron. And then we get to the final possession. We got that alley-oop. I'm like, I'm like cheering. It's like 1 a.m. here in New York. And I'm like almost waking up the kids, waking up the neighbors. I'm like, yeah. And then literally all I see is Reggie Jackson skipping up the court. I was like, this ain't good. And then they switched it, and he had Reeves on him, and then Westbrook with that whack-ass double team. Like, what are you doing? How do you let him split the double team and spin out of that? And then Reggie, this is why I wanted Reggie Jackson a couple of years back. Everybody was saying, oh, no, he's nothing in Detroit. I was like, yo, you put him on a good team, he's going to ball, and he's been doing that with the Clippers.
Listen,
hard.
Westbrook's defensive makes Frank Vogel deeply upset. Vogel must have been watching that double team transpire, and his heart was just sinking. Like, it's one of those things. Like when we loaded up the roster at the beginning of the season, it's kind of exciting just from a name value standpoint. But I think all of us knew, like, I don't know how this is going to play out. Like, old for one, that's one thing, right? But two. Like, I know this is always the problem when you get those superstars. Like, okay, well, who's got the ball in their hands then? Like, who's like Westbrook? In theory, like, when one of them has been injured, like when AD was injured, I thought, well, maybe with LeBron and Westbrook as a tandem, it might actually fit better. That works even better with AD and Westbrook or AD and LeBron in theory, and yet it hasn't. Right, so it's just one of those things where like the balance of the roster is terrible. We've got like no wiggle room at the trade deadline, really. Like, we'd have to give up basically one of the top 3 to get anything, and who the hell is going to take on a Westbrook contract? Or like, we're just we're stuck with what we got now. And when it moves into next season and the ones coming, it's just slowly reminding me of the years that followed Kobe Bryant, where at the end of Kobe's career, love Kobe, obviously forever. Mm-hmm. Well, we were giving that dude 25 million when we should not have been giving him 25 million. We were giving him courtesy money at the end. Like, thank you, Kobe. Thank you. And man, it ended up costing us because we were like floating in that terrible area, and then we couldn't get any free agents forever. I can feel it coming. When LeBron's going to skip town eventually, I don't know what AD will do. Westbrook, man, like, I don't see that being. I can't see where the next thing is for the Lakers, which is worrying.
I don't know how
you guys got Westbrook for at least next season because he ain't declining that 46 million. No. He ain't declining that. Davis, man, the guy can't stay healthy, unfortunately. I love him, but he's clearly also fallen off a little bit this year. LeBron LeBron can still go. Like when he's on the court, he's still LeBron. Another issue is that he's not been his healthiest as a member of the Lakers, and that ain't gonna improve with Father Time. Last night though, I don't know how familiar you guys are with like the history of Westbrook and Reggie Jackson. There's a lot of history between them.
I know they were teammates.
Yeah, they were teammates in OKC, and when Westbrook was hurt, like Reggie was the starting point guard. And there's the famous Memphis game that OKC fans will reference, like in joke, because Westbrook and Durant played like shit in this game. Memphis in the playoffs, and like Reggie Jackson like really carried them, and they ended up winning that game, and they went on to win the series. But like they were teammates, and when Westbrook got hurt, Reggie was the starting point guard, and so Reggie thought like he should be the starting point guard over Westbrook. And like he wrote like number 1 on his sneakers and everything. Like he thought he should start over Westbrook. There's a famous incident with like a chair, and one of the reporters, he gave Reggie like a chair, and like Westbrook was like unhappy about it. Just a lot of beef between these two. Yes, a lot of beef. So like when I saw, and then there's a game where this was years ago. This was after Reggie got traded. And Durant was hurt, and Westbrook like demanded to play in this game because OKC was resting like all their starters, but Westbrook demanded to play in this game because they were going against Reggie Jackson. He's like, I don't care, you can rest Durant, Ibaka, all these guys. I'm playing because we're playing Reggie Jackson. So when I saw Reggie like skipping up the court because he knew Westbrook was guarding him, I was like, oh, this is gonna be some drama right here. And oh yeah, Westbrook taking that bad angle to try to steal the ball instead of just cutting off his lane. It's like, oh, what are you doing, dude? What are you doing? And Reggie knew. Like, I'm not a Reggie Jackson fan. Fuck that guy. But like, it is kind of funny watching these two all these years later. And I got no interest in this. I was hoping the Clippers would lose. I need that draft pick to be better. Like, can they lose some of these games? Coming back to 35 and 24 and then beating the Lakers. Can they lose some of these games, please? I'm trying to get this draft pick to be higher. Shout out to Ty Lue. He's doing a great job. But man, Reggie Jackson, yeah, when I saw him skipping because he saw Westbrook on him, I was like, oh, this is about to be some shit. But you got the OKC experience with Westbrook. Is they'll be down big, he'll lead them back, he'll hit some shots. It's like, where was this all game? Where's this the last week or so?
He was like 3 for 11. He was like 3 for 11 before he started going off in the fourth quarter. And like, I was just like, ah, man. And Reeves played that very well. Reeves cut off the baseline. That's what you're supposed to do. And Westbrook, you don't even have to try to steal the ball. Just get into the right spot and just stand there. Don't let him get into the lane. And then I can't even blame AD. AD had a great shot. It just went in and out at the end. So, yeah, that was a tough loss. And we've lost 30 of the past 37 meetings against the Clippers. You know how embarrassing? That's like playing video games with your little brother, and your little brother keep beating you, yo, in your own house.
You know, like
you're so hurt. I see the disappointment on SP3's face.
As like a UK fan, I like mostly because obviously some of the games are like even if we're East Coast, it's like midnight, 1 o'clock start. So mostly I wake up, Bleacher Report app, and I check out what's gone on. Like, well, sometimes I wake up and Melo's got like 24 points. I'm like, oh, here he was. And then sometimes he's like 0 for 7. I'm like, oh man, like our whole game plan is literally predicated on kicking the ball out to, you know, guys like Melo and Monk and that. And if they have an off night, then we're done, basically. Like, especially when AD was hurt, like we had nothing else. And Westbrook, you just can't rely on his shooting all. So you've got LeBron at like 37 trying to run offense all by himself, like, you know, play ISO at 37. Like, I don't know, it's just it's a weird one, man. Where I look at our bench and the way we've loaded up, and I love Melo from the New York days. Like that guy was a killer, but we've got like a lot of guys who you just kind of thinking, oh, you know, see if they can shoot a 3 and that's it. And defensively, that is not it for us. Like, which is so weird. Like, I have to imagine if Frank Vogel had any input on how they were comprising this team. Because I'm assuming LeBron and
it was all LeBron.
Pelinka. But you know, Vogel must be looking at the roster going, "What did you want me to do with this? Like, what did you know? Like all the defense. Our defense was like number 1 last year, right?
Yeah,
number 1.
Yeah, last 2 years.
KCP. KCP is a guy like he had value in those areas, man. He did. Even Kuz was getting better at like not locking people down, but. you could tell he could stick to a game plan. Now it's just like we've got rid of all of even Avery Bradley as well, man. Like is a guy who's very useful in that department. So I feel like we've gone big and it's going to be go home.
Man, seems like that window for us winning a championship with LeBron is already closed, ladies and gentlemen. Because even right now we're in the play-in tournament. Like we gotta get out this 7, 8, 9 spot because literally the prize for the play-in team is to play the Warriors or the Suns. Like, why would I want that? That's not a prize. I don't want to do that.
Can you imagine just like Chris Paul navigating that defense and just like shredding that whole defense apart? Because the problem is like you mentioned, Alex, and I've said this a million times, but KCP, Kuzma, all these guys, like they play hard on defense, even if like they're not the greatest defenders in the world. They at least they're gonna play hard. They're gonna give effort. They're gonna stick to the scheme. Westbrook is just going to do whatever the fuck he wants, and he's not actually going to care most of the times. And then Melo, he's just not a good defender. So like that's who you replace these guys with, is guys who don't actually defend that well and if they don't give the effort, then they just make so many bonehead plays on defense that even if the effort is kind of there, it doesn't really matter. Like Westbrook was giving effort on that final play last night. The problem is his effort is just in the wrong areas of what he's trying to do.
Misguided.
So that's like the issue with all this. And that was always going to be the issue because like that's who Westbrook is. He ain't coming in to change. He ain't coming in to play defense. He's coming there to get his triple doubles, and he ain't even doing that.
He's coming in with stats. That's what he's coming in for.
And he ain't even doing that well. He ain't doing that well this season. I think he's averaging like 17, 8 and 8, which is good numbers for anyone else in the world. Not a guy that's averaged a triple double the last 5 seasons. Like it just, we're not getting the Westbrook, and it doesn't make sense. Why would LeBron think this was a good idea? Like literally since he's been with the Lakers.
LeBron is that girl who is like, I can change him. You know what? He has all these bad habits, but I promise I can change him. Like, don't just trust me. I got this. I can change him. And
he's
then
like that with everybody else, but with me, he shows more love.
Different.
He's different.
And then
he talks about his feelings.
Then he's still Russell Westbrook going out whoring himself around to everybody. Like he's just
But then what's Kyrie in that equation? Like, I don't need you, Bron. I don't need you. Like I think you might. Like everywhere he had it ready made in Boston and he fucked it up. I don't know, man.
And I mean that's my boy. Yes.
SP3's friend Kyrie.
Yes, my I don't know what do you call someone that's like your niece-in-law's brother? I don't know. Is there
I don't think there's
a saying for that? I don't think there's a saying for that. But we're like distant relatives. But it's not looking too good for the Nets. Like I didn't even know I only pay attention to the Lakers and what's going on in the West, and then sometimes I'll occasionally look over at the East. I didn't know the Nets had lost like 7 of their last 10.
Yeah, it's like 6
wow,
straight.
really?
Too.
Yeah. It's like
right
really bad for them right now. I was shocked. Like there's a tie at the top of the East with 2 teams. I don't think anyone could have guessed was going to have a tie at this point of the season with
the Bulls and Heat.
I knew the Heat would be a top 3 team, but to be tied with the Bulls, and I said on the last FMC, I told y'all look out for them Sixers. I told y'all look out to Joel.
They got to do something though. Like Joel's playing so great this season, and they're clearly not good enough to like probably even get out of the second round. And then if they stick with this roster and don't trade Simmons, it's just going to be a waste of the season for Embiid. And then you go into the offseason, it's like, do you really want to trade for James Harden? Like, is that the move you want to make? I know Daryl Morey loves him some James Harden, but this season and even last season ain't been the best indictment on James Harden. He's only getting older. His style of play, especially with the way they're calling fouls now, like they ain't calling fouls as often. Guys aren't getting to the line. Like James Harden was complaining that they're calling fouls too much. So come on now. But the way they're calling the game now, like Harden's tricks aren't quite as useful. I don't know if you really want to pay that premium for James Harden to be on the team.
I mean, the whole Ben Simmons conundrum is that it all lies within that anyway. I was watching the whole thing with Shaq yesterday. You know, like the beef that Shaq and Ben Simmons have got right now. It was just amusing me where Shaq was like, I'm not gonna try and do a Shaq voice, but he was like, I'm not gonna say, I'm not gonna say what Ben said in my DMs, but yeah, he wasn't happy. Like he just basically saying that, Ben Simmons is fuming, because they should be LSU brothers, and he was like, no man, you're a baby. So I don't know, like it's a whole weird one. Like obviously last season, Ben Simmons, I mean, he's been gun shy his whole career, but in the playoffs, that was just ridiculous, right? And then there are teams where a Ben Simmons could work. Facilitator, inside scorer. It could work. Like what the Sixers need when you've got Joel Embiid already, like Paint King, like doesn't work, I guess. And I don't know, man, like the way they comprise the roster, it just doesn't fit anymore. Who are you going to prioritize? Ben Simmons is the one who's got to go, but who's going to pay the price? Who's going to give up a star to collect Ben Simmons after this season? So Philly have just got themselves in a terrible corner. Yeah. But I don't know, man. Daryl Morey is going to have that kind of, he's going to romanticize about those Houston days. And he's like, I don't know. James could still play.
And like that's going to be his theory. He's like, yeah, okay. He's playing with Kyrie and LeBron. They got to have and Durant. They got to have the ball in their hands all the time. Like if we just let James Harden, if he's still our primary ball handler, we still give Embiid his touches and everything, we'll be okay. Then, like, how's Embiid going to feel about that? Because Harden needs the ball. Like, I think you got to build around Embiid, and you got to have a point guard who can facilitate and score and everything, but not a guy who is like, all right, I need, 80% of the touches here. My usage rate has to be in the 60s, like James Harden is going to feel. Because I don't know if Harden is willing to, like, pull back and give up that much. With Kyrie and Durant, it's one thing. With a post-up player like Embiid, might be a different thing. And even if the ball's in his hands, man, it ain't working for him right now. It's just not working for him. And the team around him is not great outside of Kyrie, who is a kind of a mess in many different ways right now. But I don't know if I'm paying that premium for Harden. I think I'm looking and trying to maybe Bradley Beal, if you can go that way, or just like get some guys who are good, but not a superstar guy. Like I think SP3 and I talked about a couple weeks ago of like, if that Kings package there, if you get like De'Aaron Fox and Buddy Hield, Harrison Barnes, if you get two of those three, like that ain't bad. De'Aaron Fox isn't bad. No. Barnes and Hield
De'Aaron Fox good.
Yeah, like Barnes and Hield can space and score on their own and everything. Like you get two good players instead of like one superstar player who might be aging or declining or might not be a better fit. Like it ain't the worst thing in the world there.
It's not Lil Deng and Timothy Mozgov. It's not that.
Don't remind me of the 2016 offseason where we were paying all the wrong people. We still paying for that, man.
We're still paying.
We still paying for that, ladies and gentlemen. The Lakers, man. Yeah, it's not going to be good for the 2023 through like maybe 2026 season. It ain't looking good for us.
There's not one person on earth that thought Timothy Mozgov, pay that man. And also, Lil Deng was like approaching 30, I think, at the time. Or he was in his 30s. 71 million. Oh, come on! I mean, Jesus, it was a train wreck. The whole situation, to be fair, before Pelinka got there. Not to say that he's exactly smartened everything up, but man, the Lakers has a history of terrible stuff. Even when we were like, you know what, Meta World Peace, bring him back. Bring him back. He was good. 2009, bring him back. What do you mean? Bring him back. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not optimistic about the Lakers' future. I'm really not.
No, and it always happens to us. Like in my lifetime, every time they have tried to have some super team with some big three or big four, it always turns out horribly. The Malone Payton
here comes
year.
Gary Payton, yeah.
The Malone Payton year when we had Dwight and Steve Nash didn't work. Now we're seeing the third generation of this with AD, LeBron, and Russell Westbrook. 3 times a charm. Stop doing these super teams. Get your 2 superstars and build around them.
I, for real, thought I was so disappointed when the first Dwight experience didn't work out. Like, on paper, I thought Kobe Bryant and Dwight Howard, that sounds like you got all bases checked. Right? No, you don't. Yeah, man.
This is the second time that the Lakers, like, Steve Nash is my guy. That's my favorite player of all time outside of Jordan. So like when he went to the Lakers, I was like, oh, good. Like they're going to get Nash a championship. Like this is great. Yeah. And I had a similar feeling here. It's like Westbrook, maybe this is how I get this championship. This is great. It's like, man, Melo. Y'all killing.
Melo.
No, I don't give a fuck about Melo. He gave me the worst.
Come on. He's Olympian.
That OKC
dare you?
That OKC season was the worst OKC season I've ever gone through. Because it was a very similar thing of like, we got a big three, Westbrook, George, and Melo. Here we go. And it's like, oh, that didn't work at all. That did not work at all. So, no, fuck Carmelo Anthony. Like, man, going to the Lakers, give my guys Nash and Westbrook. This is their shot at the ring. And it's like, ain't even close. Ain't even close to a ring. And that's the most disappointing part is like, they ain't even there. Like, it's not like they're having good regular season. It's like, oh, maybe make it just kind of fizzled out in the playoffs, whatever. But like, there's some hope. Like they're going in as like a favorite. They just lost to maybe a better team. And so like, that's how it was with the big four with Peyton and Malone. It's like, they were there. They were at least in the finals.
Yeah.
They just ran out of gas. They went like that 6 games with San Antonio is one of like the most thrilling series I remember in the playoffs with the 0.4 shot from Derek Fisher. And then Kobe had to go from like court to the game in the middle of the playoffs. So that was like one of the craziest series to watch. And then from there they go and get against the Pistons. Oh, that is like the worst loss as a Laker fan I have ever felt, because we thought when we made the finals, we was like, oh, it's a wrap.
It's done.
We versus a team with no superstars. The biggest star they got is Rashid. Both teams played hard. Wallace, like, come on, man.
They ain't even close with Westbrook or Nash. I mean, you guys mentioned the Lakers' future. The good thing is like the future, it's getting pretty short. I mean, it's like one game into the playoffs, they'll be done. You don't have to worry about them until the off season, and then we'll see what they screw up in the off season. We didn't even talk about the Brian Flores stuff real quickly though, but he's trying to bring down Bill Belichick's trying to bring down the entire NFL, texting, "Hey, good job! I heard you got the job," and it's like, "Oh no, wrong person." Hugh Jackson saying Cleveland told him to lose games. And look, if that's true, he did a tremendous job. He got a lot of extra money because he lost a lot of games for that team. There's our Brian Flores talk. I'm trying to wrap it up. I don't know what's going to happen out of this. Probably absolutely nothing. But I hope he takes the NFL, and I hope he gets him over the barrel here, because it is a complete sham what they're trying to do with the Rooney Rule. It's like, oh yeah, we're interviewing black coaches, and then no black coach ever gets hired. And if they do, they're fired almost immediately. So I hope he gets something changed with the NFL. Will it actually happen? Probably not, but I got my fingers crossed for you, Brian. Got my fingers crossed for you.
I hope so. Yeah, it's been an issue for a while, but I'm glad that someone's taking them to task for once. So,
I mean, they got text from Bill Belichick. You think if anybody can do it right, then Bill Belichick can bring everybody down. Can't do Spygate right, but I can't believe this man texted the wrong person. This was a ploy by Belichick. He's like, Patriots got whooped by the Bills. Brady's retiring. I got to do something to boost my value back up here. Like right now, they're throwing dirt on my name here, saying it's all Brady. This Bill. You know what? I'm gonna help out a bunch of racists in the NFL. That's what I'm gonna do. Belichick, next level thinking, everybody. Alex McCarthy, thanks for joining us, buddy. Plug some stuff.
Thank you, brother. Wow, yeah. I haven't got half the stuff to plug that I used to. But you can hit me up on AlexM_Talksport on Twitter and Instagram, and of course all of my wrestling dirty word on this show. But that news is on Talksport/wrestling, and we still have the Talk Wrestling podcast as well, which you can find on all good podcast providers on Talksport's Fight Night feed. So yeah, feel free to follow all that good stuff.
There you go. SP3, you're doing a show literally in 20 minutes on this channel.
Yes, you can see.
You do. I told you, you do more shows on this channel than I do. And you're like, only one of them's wrestling. He's like, I don't do any wrestling shows on this channel. I don't do a single one.
I was like, let me pitch True Rewind to Joel so I could talk about wrestling on one of these shows. But
everybody's pitching to Joel. It's like, do you guys? I make the final decisions here. What the fuck is Joel doing? You have anything? Joel's like, this person wants a show. This person wants a show. I was like, Joel, this is my channel. Tell them to come to me. Talk to me. You like, I love you. So like, I didn't obviously it's like, yeah, whatever SP3 wants to do. Cool. These other people, what are we doing? Come to me. Talk to me about this stuff. Go to Joel.
Hey, they went to Jensen for Degrassi dudes. But so see us in about 20 minutes. We're going to be ranking all of the Degrassi couples, a Degrassi couples tier list. Myself, Steven Jensen, and Alex, Queen of the Ring, our very first guest on our move to Fightful Overbooked.
There you go. SP3 also, you can follow him at True Heel SP3, the True Heel Heat, YouTube, Twitch, all that good stuff. Yeah, is the Rewind show starting this Sunday? Is the first one going to be up on Sunday?
I believe it's next Sunday, but I
should probably talk to Joel and find out these things.
Yeah. But yes, it's going to be a lot of fun. We watch old school episodes of WWF Raw, WCW Nitro. We review the show for you, and we let you know what was the better show. Romeo will have Observer newsletters from the 90s. I'll do some impressions of Goldust, Mankind, Paul Bearer, and Undertaker promos. So it's always a good time on True Rewind.
There you go. So that's next Sunday. We'll be debuting here on Fightful Overbooked. Guys, we got content every single day on this channel. Much of it doesn't involve me, but we had a new show with our pal Cher Delaware called Strong Style, where she reviews the fashion in wrestling. I'm sure she'll have plenty to say about certain people. So that's debuting at some point. I just posted a video of myself and Jared Bailey doing Bailey's Box, where he updates us on his dating life. SP3, we gotta get you in, since you were there for the original. It's a stupid bit show. It's like 10 minutes, but that's on the channel right now that everybody can watch. SP3 is going to join us for that at some point, because I think we're going to be doing that like bi-weekly and stuff. But new content every single day here on the channel. Different interviews, different shows, different sketches. Some just non-wrestling talk all the time, at least with me, because I don't like wrestling. Guys, appreciate all the support. Alex, thanks for joining us. Next week, usually we do this show bi-weekly. I'm telling you this now, SP3. Next week, we'll be doing this show, FMC, because it's the day after the trade deadline. And so we got to talk about the trade deadline. I originally wanted to do like a live trade deadline show. And then I realized it's Thursday at 3:00 and I have the spotlight to do Thursday at 3:00. So, and then Will does day after Dynamite on this channel. So I think we'll just do an episode of FMC next Friday morning, and we'll talk about the trade deadline if you're cool with that.
I am down.
We'll talk Super Bowl. We'll talk Super Bowl as well. So plenty to talk about next week. Guys, appreciate y'all. Again, stick around. SP3, Steven Jensen, Alex Queen of the Ring, Degrassi dudes, and one gal coming up at 10:00 right here. Guys, we'll catch y'all then.